Hey y'all. Sorry, the way I'm sitting, like you can't even see my eyes. It's like I'm trying to do this training like this. But my hair looks so bad today that I had to put a hat on before I could hop on and do this video. Okay, all right. I want to talk to you guys about ease today because when we did the product training call last week, I just kind of barely touched on why I think ease is so important. And I know that we preach constantly that we want to start people out on triplex, which I absolutely do want to do that. But I actually am 1,000% okay if you have them add ease in during the first month as well. And I'm just going to run through a couple of the reasons why. For a lot of people, we're getting on triplex for a lot of different things. Some people just want overall wellness. Some people are looking for weight loss. Some people are looking for, better energy. Some people have serious health conditions. And especially for those that fall into that serious health condition or autoimmune community, they're typically going to have a harder time with the detoxification phase using ProBio 5. They're going to struggle more as we try to weed out their gut. And so adding in ease can actually be very, very beneficial for them. And the reason for this is that autoimmune people are typically very enzyme deficient. Their body just isn't producing the digestive enzymes or the other enzymes that are needed to help the body to function like it should. Because the body essentially with an autoimmune disease has begun to attack itself. So it's no longer producing the enzymes that it traditionally would in a healthy immune system. So I would really consider adding ease in to, if you've got somebody that says, hey Rach, I'm interested in starting plexus. I'm going to do triplex, but I have fibromyalgia, or I've got lupus, or I've got any number of autoimmune diseases. It really doesn't matter. Hashimoto's. I would then begin a conversation with them about, okay, absolutely, we want to get you started on triplex. This is the regimen that I want you to follow, but would you also consider adding in ease to your product regimen as well? And explain to them that as someone in the autoimmune community, their body isn't making the enzymes that it needs. So what enzymes are in ease? We already know that in ProBio 5, we have the proteases and the amylases and the other enzymes that are in ProBio 5 that actually help to break down the biofilm that we talked about last week. But in ease, you have serrapeptase and you have bromelain. And both of those help to break down excess proteins. So, I could go into this lengthy explanation of leaky gut and how it sets off the autoimmune reaction and creates a state of inflammation. And we can do another call on that at another time if y'all want. But basically, for people with autoimmune conditions, instead of the body naturally ridding itself of those proteins, they wrongfully get stored in our muscle tissue and in our muscle fibers. And so the serrapeptase and the bromelain will help to break down those excess proteins and flush them from the body. The serrapeptase and the bromelain are also really good at helping people have an easier time with detoxification. Why? Because once again, you're helping the body, you're kind of just coming along and you're aiding the body's own detoxification process. So people who have fibromyalgia or have joint pain, who have arthritic type conditions, like I said a minute ago, excess proteins have leaked through the gut and they're being stored in the muscle tissues. So if we can get them going on ease, not only are we going to help them have an easier detoxification process from getting rid of the bad gut bacteria, we're also going to help to start getting those excess proteins flushed out of their body and flushed out of their system. So I automatically think when I'm visiting with people, how do I think ease can help them? Because I know that, the company markets it as, a great way to overexertion of muscles, if you had too hard of a workout or something like that. And it is great for that. But y'all, this is such like the unsung hero of the Plexus product line because it has so many benefits. I was looking up some information this morning also on inflammation in particular. And, most of us, when we think of inflammation, we think about like, okay, I accidentally put my hand on the stovetop and didn't realize it was hot and I got a burn. Or, you get a sunburn. Or when you get like a scratch or a sore, a cut, how it'll start to get red and puffy, and that's inflammation that's actually helping to heal. So inflammation in and of itself is not a bad thing. It actually serves a very good purpose. But inflammation out of control is very, very, very dangerous. And so, and like I said, there are people that walk around and they may not think that they have any kind of inflammation going on because they're not experiencing pain. But just because you're not in pain doesn't mean that you aren't experiencing inflammation. So what are some of the causes for the common, and let's set aside people with autoimmune conditions or other health issues. What are some of the causes of inflammation that we might not commonly go to? Sugar in your diet, high doses of the wrong oils and fats. So we've had it preached to us for years that we need to be cooking everything in olive oil because it has such good anti-inflammatory properties, and olive oil does. But the problem is that when it gets heated above a certain threshold, which I believe is about 400 degrees Fahrenheit, it turns rancid. And so it actually stops being a good beneficial oil and it becomes pro-inflammatory. So if you're going to cook, don't cook with olive oil. If you're going to be cooking at high temperatures, instead use something like coconut oil or avocado oil because those can be heated to those higher temperatures and it won't set off that inflammatory cascade. Hidden allergens. You can go to your doctor and you can ask to be tested for food allergies, and that's a great way to do it. But you can also just do like a 1 to 4 week elimination diet and see how that makes you feel. Lack of exercise is another cause of inflammation because you're not getting rid of those excess proteins that are being stored in your muscles. And then just chronic stress in and of itself. Our main stress hormone is cortisol. And so cortisol is anti-inflammatory until there's too much cortisol, and then it becomes like there's inflammation in the body that just won't go away. So now let's talk about ease in terms of weight loss, because I want to highlight the inflammatory component of carrying excess weight around. And there's this great quote by Dr. Mark Hyman, who's one of my favorite health gurus. He says, being fat is being inflamed, period. So if you've got somebody who's coming to you that says, look, I have gained 30 pounds, I've got to get it off, I want to try Plexus, make sure that you start them off on ease from day one. Okay, so now let's think about when we do these diets, and let's say you lose like 5 pounds in a week, and everybody goes, oh, well, that's just water weight. You just lost water weight. Okay, yeah, you did lose water weight. Why? Why was your body retaining fluid? The body only retains fluid when it's in a state of inflammation. So if you've got somebody that's like, oh, my hands are just, I can't get my rings on my fingers anymore, or they've got like swelling in their extremities, the body is retaining fluid because there's inflammation going on somewhere in the body. So let's talk about some of the impacts of inflammation. It can impact you in terms of your allergies, whether that's food allergies or like this time of year in Lubbock, they start to defoliate all the cotton and people get a lot of like allergic rhinitis. So there's inflammation going on in their sinuses and in their nasal canals. Arthritis is an inflammatory condition. Autoimmune diseases, fatigue can be brought on by inflammation. I already mentioned sinus problems. You can actually have major issues with your hormones if inflammation is being set off in the body. High blood pressure is very often caused by inflammation in the body. The heart is having to work too hard because of inflammation. Reflux, colitis. So y'all, anybody that comes to me that has any kind of gastrointestinal issues, like whether it's irritable bowel syndrome or Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, I make sure that ease is part of their regimen, because those are inflammatory conditions. Inflammation is what is causing that. But inflammation, we are just beginning to discover the huge role that inflammation plays in mood disorders like depression and anxiety. So even if you've got somebody that is struggling, like I've had a lot of people say, I want to try Vital Biome because of all of the benefits that it has for depression and anxiety, I would talk to them about ease as a companion to that as well. Ease is a great standalone product. You don't have to just be on Triplex to take it. It's a great standalone product. If you've got people that are just on ProBio 5, it's an excellent complement to ProBio 5. There really is not any product regimen that we have that I wouldn't suggest adding ease to. Just remember, the only people that we would not recommend this to are people with shellfish allergies because of the New Zealand green-lipped mussel. So the last thing that I wanted to leave y'all with in terms of inflammation and weight is that there was a 2008 study done in the UK that basically established that chronic inflammation and weight gain go hand in hand. So they followed a group of people and they measured them as their weight went up. They also measured a specific blood level. It's called your C-reactive protein. And if you've ever been told, if your doctor's done that test on you and it's come back high, they're telling you you've got inflammation somewhere in your body. So as they followed this study of people, what they noticed is that as a person's weight increased, so did the C-reactive protein level in their body. So it's really important that if we want to get weight off, that we don't just attack it from a dietary or a nutrition or an exercise perspective. We also want to make sure that we are resolved to the fact that the inflammation has to be involved in some capacity. So the other thing that I would mention about Ease and about the Ease cream is for folks that have skin conditions, whether it's eczema or I had psoriasis. Y'all have heard my psoriasis story. But really any type of external skin condition is evidence that there is internal inflammation going on. So get those people on Ease too. Like I said, I just recommend it for everybody, and this has gone on a little bit longer than I meant for it to. One thing I wanted to leave y'all with was I was reading an article this morning about, okay, so I know that I have inflammation. What can I do about it? Okay, well, we've already discussed adding in Ease. But the very first recommendation was to eat antioxidants and polyphenols. Well, y'all, that's what's in Slim. It's the combination of the polyphenols, the antioxidants, and the prebiotic fiber that help to reduce inflammation. Consume essential fatty acids. Get your people on Ease or get them on Mega X or get them on both. Adding in spices like turmeric. Well, guess what's in Ease? Turmeric. Exercise is important, so encourage people to exercise. Stress levels. You've got to reduce your stress levels to lower inflammation. Things that help to drive inflammation are sugar, and typically when we are stressed, there is something is out of whack between our blood sugar and our cortisol, so we typically crave sweets. And so we want to get people on Triplex so that we get those cravings down, so that the stress level can begin to come down and the inflammation begins to reduce. And then the sixth thing to help reduce inflammation is sleep. Whether you know it or not, there's a very complex, harmonious dance that's occurring while we're in restful sleep that allows our body to reduce inflammation and heal. that's where you would want to get people going on Mega X and on ProBio 5 at bedtime, because we know that that helps us all get into that deep restorative sleep. So that's all I've got for you today. I'm going to put this on YouTube as well after it downloads. And last thing I want to leave you with is a little challenge for the day. Watch this video and tell me something that you learned from it that you didn't know before. And everybody that comments will do a drawing at the end of today. Let's be honest, it probably won't happen until tomorrow morning. But we'll do a drawing, and I will send you a free bottle of Ease, and you can either use that for yourself or you can use it as a giveaway. So y'all have a great day. Bye.